A British man with motor neuron disease penned an emotional letter to MPs and published it in the moments before he ended his life at the Dignitas clinic today. Retired accountant Geoff Whaley, from Buckinghamshire, chose to die in Switzerland rather than face immense suffering in the end stages of the devastating condition. The grandfather of four, 80, died peacefully in his wife's arms and surrounded by family and friends, the charity Dignity in Dying said today. Just moments before he passed away at 10 a.m. he posted a haunting letter to the government calling for a change in the law which he said robbed me of control over my death. He revealed how he sobbed for the first time in 5 decades when his wife was grilled by police for helping him die, adding, "The law sought to punish those attempting to help me get there." The hypocrisy and cruelty of this is astounding. Mr. Whaley wanted assisted suicide to be made legal in the UK after his wife of 52 years and was interviewed under caution last week and warned she faces 14 years in prison. When asked about helping her husband commit suicide, 76-year-old Mrs. Whaley said, "I don't think of it like that. When you've got a husband as brave as mine, you have to support him." Father of 2, Mr. Whaley was diagnosed with motor neuron disease 2 years ago, and in December doctors told him that he had 6 to 9 months left. He had dinner with his wife and 2 adopted children, Alex and Dominic, at a hotel in Zurich last night. Mr. Whaley has left letters for his 4 grandchildren, aged 4 to 17. Mrs. Whaley booked the flights to Switzerland and a hotel because her husband can no longer use his hands. But Mr. Whaley revealed how the stress of his wife being summoned to a police station had destroyed everything we had done to prepare ourselves. He also wrote a letter to the government asking for them to reconsider the law on assisted suicide. It was posted online shortly before he died. In the letter, he said he does not fear death, but fears the journey. The 80-year-old said the final weeks of his life had been blighted by visits from social services and police. He adds, "I want to impress upon you the anguish me and my family have experienced, not because of this awful illness, though of course this has been incredibly difficult, but because of the law against assisted dying in this country." No family should ever have to endure the torment we have undergone in recent weeks. Speaking on the BBC, Mr. and Mrs. Whaley discussed their decision to travel to the controversial clinic in Switzerland. Mr. Whaley said he and his wife had reconciled themselves as to the fact that he would end his life and gave the reasoning behind his decision. Mrs. Whaley also revealed how she was questioned by Thames Valley police officers who were responding to an anonymous call received through the social services. She said, "The police were clearly not expecting to find a non-abusive situation. They were quite embarrassed. His final limb had gone, and he could no longer do anything for himself at all." He can't hold a phone, he can't press numbers, he can't feed himself. Whereas before he could hold a glass of gin and tonic, even if I put a straw in it, he could do that. Mr. Whaley added, "It is one of the illnesses that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. The final weeks or months, which can be particularly gruesome, I decided that I didn't really want to go through that. We were quite reconciled to that." What are the rules on going to Dignitas for assisted suicide? Patients traveling to Dignitas need to be sufficiently healthy to travel from the UK to Switzerland, something that can quickly be robbed from patients with degenerative illnesses. In May 2018, Dignitas confirmed the 394th person from the UK had died in its clinic. Dignitas says that in recent years there has been a consistent rise in the number of people from the UK becoming members of Dignitas. Between 2012 and 2016, membership in the UK rose 39% from 821 to 1139. In 2016, 47 people from the UK died at Dignitas, the equivalent of one person every 8 days. Campaign group Dignity in Dying estimates that every 8 days a Briton makes the journey to Dignitas. The average cost of obtaining an assisted death overseas is £10,000. The organization, which was founded in 1998, is a not-for-profit society which strives of an objective of ensuring a life and a death with dignity for its members. Among others, its activities consist of the following: counseling in regard to all end-of-life issues, cooperation with physicians, clinics and other associations carrying out patients' instructions and patients' rights with regard to doctors and clinics, support in conflicts with the authorities, with the management of nursing homes, and with doctors not chosen by the patient, further legal developments in regard to questions about the last issues, accompaniment of dying patients and assistance with a self-determined end of life. Any adult can become a member of the society, even if they are not a resident in Switzerland. The organization claims that, in order to join, one needs to fill a declaration of membership and send it in. Dignitas will then confirm the acceptance of membership in writing and provide the Dignitas patient's instructions form. The rules on going there for assisted suicide: the organization does require some information before allowing people to carry out an assisted suicide. It claims that it only deals with illnesses which will lead inevitably to death, unendurable pain or an unendurable disability. In this case it can, on reasoned request and with medical proof, arrange for members to have an assisted suicide. Mr. Whaley decided he wanted an assisted death in Switzerland soon after his diagnosis, but worried police would confiscate his passport, so feared his only other option would be to starve himself. Police have since dropped the case, although it may be reopened should any new information come to light. Labour peer Lord Falconer criticised the law on BBC Radio 4 today, arguing Mr. Whaley should be given the choice to end his own life. He told the program, "The idea that this is anything other than his own choice is absurd. The law is a pig."